In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I do in the very beginning of a land search for my buyers in order to make sure that it is a great property for them. It's what they were looking for. It checks all the boxes for their needs, and we can go out, put some boots on the ground, and actually walk the property. So I'm going to give you the steps that I take before we even walk the property. This particular piece of property, except it's not this one because I'm not standing on it. I'm actually standing on a really awesome piece of property right now that I can talk to you about later. But the piece of property that I am going to talk to you about today is listed for sale in Cornelius, North Carolina. The property size of the lot, it's raw land, nothing's been touched on it. It's 0.48 acres, which sounds huge, and it sounds like there's so much building potential. What could go wrong? Well, that lot is actually not buildable, and I want to, in this video, review why that lot, in a great location, seems like a large parcel, is not buildable. I had a buyer that was interested in this parcel. He sent me the information. I made some phone calls, found out that it wasn't buildable, and saved a trip out to walk the property. Hey, I'm Alexa Jordan. I am a local realtor here in Lake Norman, North Carolina, and the Charlotte area. I specialize in land sales, and I want to make sure that I cover all the bases when it comes to making sure that you are aware of the lot that you're buying and that it checks all the boxes for you as a buyer. Now, it might check some boxes for some buyers and not others for other buyers. So that's why it's important to talk to your realtor about what you want to do on the property, what you want to build on the property, so that they understand what your needs are and can fully research the land and make sure that it's a right fit for you. If you are looking for land in the North Carolina area, specifically Lake Norman and Charlotte, I would love to assist. So feel free to check the description on how to get a hold of me. Typically text, email. I am super quick to get back to you, so feel free to shoot me a text or give me a call. So let's jump back into the video about the steps that I take in my office, on the computer, on the phone, before we even set foot on the property. So step one is I get a phone call from a client or a text that they are interested in a piece of property. Great. I love getting those text messages. I hop on the computer. I do a quick deed search. So I pull up the property's deed, which is when the current owner purchased it. And I also do a deed search from previous owners. So what I'm looking for with a deed search is any restrictions that run with the land. And this is going to come up on a deed search. So 20 years ago, there could have been an owner of the property that set deed restrictions to any home or anything to be built on the property. These restrictions could be minimum square footage, maximum story height. So I've seen 2.5 stories as a maximum build. I've seen no trailers, boats, no trash on your property, no business vehicles, limitations on subdividing. So if somebody 30 years ago didn't want the property to be developed, they would put a deed restriction that you can't subdivide it, or if you can subdivide it, it's only subdividable between family members. I've seen that as a restriction. So you want to make sure that your realtor or you or me, if I'm your realtor, is doing a proper deed search to check the history of deeds to make sure that there are no deed restrictions. I also look for on the deeds if there's any easements, right-of-ways, or anything on the property, any limiting access to road frontage. I also look for that on a deed restriction or a deed search as well. So second thing I do after we clear the deed search, and that checks all your boxes, what I'm going to do next is call the city and or the county of where the property is located. So in this situation, this property was located in Cornelius. So I knew that Cornelius is very strict with their building permits and building regulations. So I hop on the phone with the city of Cornelius, and I got transferred to the right person in the building and development area of Cornelius, and I asked them this first question. My first question I ask is, what are the setbacks for the lot? So this lot was 0.48 acres. I knew that there would be setbacks on the front and the sides. So these setbacks were 8 on the sides and I think 25 from the front and the back. So after I got those setbacks, that was all good because I believe it was like a 70 or maybe 80-foot road frontage. So that was fine for building. And then the second question I ask is, what is the minimum square footage of the lot for it to be buildable? So after her research, her minimum square footage to build on this particular property in Cornelius is a ½ acre. So if you remember correctly, this lot is 0.48 acres, which is lower than the minimum square footage. So in return, not buildable. There are some things that you can do to potentially get by this restriction. One would be ask for a variance. The current homeowner would probably have to do that. That would probably be the easiest option because you don't want to buy the land and then get denied your variance. The second option, which is less likely, but you can ask one of your neighbors to sell you 0.02 of their property in order for you to build on it. Now this lot was super sloped and not the best lot anyways for building. It's not worth it to jump through all those hoops for that, but there could be a way to get around some of your restrictions. So speaking with a realtor can help you understand your options when it comes to overcoming some of those restrictions. If the answer was 0.5 acres and the lot was 0.5 acres, say it checked that box. The next question that I would ask the city or the county, wherever the parcel is what's the minimum road frontage that this property has to maintain? So what I'm looking for as a development side is, can this lot be subdivided? But you also have to go back to that minimum square footage for the land for the build and make sure that your minimum road frontage and your minimum square footage of your lot checks both of those boxes. So that is what I am asking the city or the county for building restrictions. Step 3 would be check the utilities. Typically the listing agent puts if there is well and septic needed or if there are city water and sewer available. If they don't put that, you have to do your own research. So when I'm talking to the city or the county, now I'm going to move on to whether this lot is able to hook up to city utilities. In Mecklenburg County, we call Charlotte Water, and I'll say, this is the address or the parcel ID. Can you tell me if this lot is able to hook up to the city utilities for water and sewer? So they're going to do their research and they're going to look for the closest availability to tap into, and they're going to give you an amount. I've seen $9,000 for a tap fee, and this means that the city is going to come out, they're going to connect your water and tap it into your lot, but they only do about 4 feet from the road. It's up to your plumber when it starts building time to hook up to that water from the street and bring it into your house. If it is septic and well needed, then I'm going to ask the city when I have them on the phone if there has been any previous permits, Perc tests, soil tests in their system, if the soil is suitable for a septic system, or if it was deemed bad soil and not perkable. So I'm going to talk to the listing agent, see if I can get any information from them about soil testing and any other information that's important to my buyer from the listing agent in order to move forward with going to put boots on the ground. So we're not there yet. After I get off the phone with the listing agent, I will go to GIS. So all counties have a GIS system. This shows it can show the topography, it shows the tax record, it shows when it was last purchased, how much it was purchased for, how much they pay in taxes, where their address is for mailing. It shows a lot of information. So that's through the GIS system. So on this particular lot that we're talking about today, it's in Cornelius. So I pull up Mecklenburg GIS because it's in Mecklenburg County. I put in the address information and I pull up the topography. So before I even walk the land, I want to see how sloped or flat the land is to help with understanding if it's buildable, if it's a hard build, easy build, basement lot, crawl space, slab. So I want to understand the topography. Also, when it comes to the topography, there are a lot of lots where it hasn't been touched. It's raw land, hasn't been cleared. So walking through the property, if it's larger than a half acre, is really difficult when it's super wooded. So I want to understand the topography on the computer before I put boots on the ground. So after I check the GIS, I am going to look for any other restrictions. So initially we looked at deed restrictions. Other restrictions would be HOA restrictions. If it's in an HOA, they're going to have CC&Rs, which are covenants and restrictions that run with the property. And those restrictions as well could be the color of your house, the maintenance of your home. You got to keep your grass cut at a certain length. You can't have laundry hanging outside. You have to keep it clean. You can't add anything until you put it through the architectural review. There are different restrictions for different HOAs. There could be a super strict HOA where you have to ask for every little thing or you're going to get fined. Or there could be more laid back HOAs that are $50 a year, and that's really just to keep the lights on at the front entrance. So understanding those restrictions is also helpful when it comes to looking for land and looking for the next spot for you to build your house. So if that parcel that you sent me as a buyer checks all of those boxes, and I feel and you feel like this lot is perfect, this is the time now we go out and we walk the property. I always tell my buyers that looking for land and purchasing land takes patience. That is just what I do for my buyers before we even set foot on the property. Once we go under contract on the property, there are other requirements like inspections, soil tests, perc tests, bring a builder out, see where your house will sit, get it surveyed. So there's other things that we need to do from contract to close. But what I reviewed with you today is what I do before we even set foot on the property to make sure that we are checking all your boxes for the land that you're looking for. Buying land, man, it takes 8 to 12 months to find the land and close on the property, depending on what you are looking for and what your needs are and location. If it's in a great location, priced well, the land is going to go quickly. So you want to make sure that your realtor is acting quickly for you, uncovering all those restrictions and making sure that you are not losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in buying the wrong property. So the lot that I'm standing on right now is in Davidson Pond. So this one does have an HOA. It's listed for $325,000. It is 3.5 acres. I actually am the listing agent of this one. I love this property. So my seller was able to get this lot cleared a little bit for you to walk it and actually understand the topography, the layout of the house, and understand what you're buying, which is super helpful when it comes to walking property. So again, this one's in Davidson Pond. It's about 2 minutes from downtown Davidson. It is about 7 miles to downtown Mooresville, 10 minutes to Lake Norman. It does have an HOA, like I mentioned before, but you have over 3.5 acres, so you can add a pool, a pickleball court. Homes in this neighborhood are anywhere between 1.5 million to 2.5, maybe 3 million. And the builder that I'm working with is Aaron with Lake Mist Homes, and I have put up his Carolina plan for this lot because it is perfect for a basement and a pool. So this I will show you. This is a sloped lot, which makes it, again, perfect for a basement. Let me turn this around. I'll show you where I am. See how we got it cleared? It's just so much easier to see. So your house would sit right here. Look at those beautiful houses. This one just finished. They just moved in. So this is perfect for 3 stories, 2 stories plus a basement. Has a steady slope. It's already been perked for 4 bedrooms. It has an off-site septic. So you don't even have to worry about your drain field. So you don't even have to worry about your septic drain field on your property. You can invest in putting in an awesome pool. Down here, so this will be a nice sloped backyard, like right there. And down here, you can put your little pickleball court. So this one is really nice because, like I said, it's $325,000, which is the lowest price per acre in the neighborhood right now. And it's already been perked, so you don't have to waste money on getting it perked. You just work with the builder to resubmit the building permit. Put your little pickleball down there, pickleball court, play with your neighbors, and way back there, 3.5 acres goes way back. So you got lots of land. You can put trails back there, walking trails, not really buildable. Midway through, there is a little creek going through, but lots of land to just do your own thing and have privacy, peace, and also the conveniences of living 2 miles to Davidson downtown for date nights, events. There's your neighbor. But look at that. That's just beautiful. If you'd like more information, I have attached the listing details on this one. It's 133 Addison Emory Lane, Mooresville, North Carolina, 28115. It's got its own property website. Feel free to take a look at the documents, pictures, and give me a shout if you want more information or to schedule a walkthrough with Aaron from Lake Mist Homes, who also built that house. I hope this was helpful when it comes to researching land and making sure that it checks all your boxes. Subscribe and follow for more real estate tips around the Lake Norman and Charlotte area. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.